Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our coverage of WR Masters Chess. I'm here with Gukesh. Congratulations.
Thank you.
A beautiful victory today. And indeed, you're in a good situation with the tournament, and thanks to today's victory, it's looking really good. What happened today, your
Yeah.
game?
So today he generally recently has started playing Catalan, and he almost always goes for this.
Okay.
So until knight b7, I think both players had it in a
Preparation.
prep. But
Mm-hmm.
b3, I I kind of remember checking something similar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if this was if it was in this position or a different one, but I didn't remember this b3 very well, and
Okay.
I decided to play some logical moves. Just
Right. Basic.
yeah.
I'm instead of the after b6. I'm also
Mm.
familiar with a4. I've seen white players sometimes with the
Here
bishop.
a4. Yeah.
Yeah, also trying a4. But knight
Mhm.
c3 is completely standard, and I've seen these pawn sacrifices
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
white plays.
I've seen this too, but I was not sure about this exact position. How good this is.
Right. We're both going to run to our rooms and check it. Go on. Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought a4 maybe I can just play a5. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a game, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So after bishop a6, he decided to sack the pawn,
Right.
and yeah, here already I had no idea about the position,
You
and
came up with a remarkable solution.
yeah,
e5 and knight g4.
I thought so. I mean, the first time I looked at this position, I thought e5 must be the move because it's very common and
Yes.
takes the like venom out of e5, knight e4, and some attack on the king side. But
Right.
after e5, I played e5 after like 20 minutes of thought,
Mm-hmm.
but I completely missed that he has knight e2. And at
Mm-hmm.
first I thought if after he played knight e2, I thought okay, he is prepared, and um, this is probably quite dangerous.
Right.
So I spent more time, and I was very proud of what I came up with. Knight g4.
Again, I find it remarkable because it's sort of
Mhm.
like all the coaches in the world are saying to their students, connect your rooks, develop. And knight g4 is kind of but it has a very specific purpose.
Mhm.
You're fighting for control over the e5 and
Yeah.
by extension the d3 square.
Yes.
Yes.
So in general, this is a horrible move, but
Yes.
in concrete terms, I think from at least what I thought about it, it works
You-
quite well. So the
Okay.
point is, if I take ed4 here,
Yes.
then knight ed4 and
White
c6,
is
and
happy.
yeah, white is happy. So c6 is hanging, and e5 e6 is too dangerous.
Clear.
So I thought when he plays knight d4, I had to get knight e5.
Mm-hmm.
So to stop e5, and I thought knight g4.
Okay.
And the point is that after h3, I have ed4,
Right.
hg4 d3,
Right.
and if knight d4, I get what I want, knight e5.
Exactly.
So in the game, it was I guess a better version for him, like
Mm-hmm.
taking here knight d5. I mean, like after knight g4, he started thinking. So I assume if it was not in his preparation, it must be like there must be some way for white to gain at least a slight advantage.
Right. We didn't check in the engine, so
Mhm.
excuse me for that. Just go back a few moves.
Sure.
Because I was, yes, right here.
Yeah.
After the move knight g4, I had it in mind bishop c3. Was that in your consideration as well? Not to take the pawn on c4, but bishop
Mhm.
c3.
Yeah, I
Again,
did.
just making the fight for e5. Yes?
Yes, I did consider this move,
Yes.
but I thought after bishop f6 I should be doing fine.
Okay, nothing.
Because I'm still waiting with the break, and when you
Right.
get knight e5, you have knight e5, and you don't have knight f5 hitting the
Right.
bishop.
Exactly.
But probably you can go like rook d1. This is what I
Mhm.
was thinking.
Keeping
Like
the
now,
tension, yes?
yeah.
Okay.
Now I thought I can take and go queen c7, and I didn't really see
Way of,
yeah.
huh, remarkable.
Yeah.
Remarkable.
So I think bishop f6 is also quite important, I
I see.
assume. But what he did was quite logical. bc4, just taking the pawn, and you get knight d4. But here, yeah, I assumed there should be something for white, but I couldn't see it, and I thought, okay, if I don't see it, my opponent will also not see it.
He will show it.
Yeah.
All right.
And yeah, like what he did was so logical, but it suddenly got out of control for him.
Right.
Bishop c3, bishop c5 are logical moves.
Mhm.
I also thought maybe I could start with queen c7,
Okay.
but then I was afraid of him starting with f4.
Mhm.
I take the pawn, knight f5, bishop c5, king h1, f6, and now compared to
The game.
the game where he had to spend a tempo for rook a1, he can just go e5 directly, and I think I'm crushed here.
Yes, this is the problem. Like, you
Yeah.
could easily get crushed.
Yeah.
And bishop e4 is coming, and there's
Mhm.
just a lot of
Yeah, the c3
dangers.
bishop is a monster. So
Exactly. So I thought you played it quite well.
I thought bishop c5 was the correct move, and
Mhm.
I think here there was a possibility of knight b3, if I'm not wrong. I think it was in this position.
Mhm.
And what did I think?
Queen d3.
Yeah,
and
queen
then
d3 I was thinking about.
in such positions that you're facing this attack, when you get to trade off the
Yeah.
a little bit sense of relief.
Yeah.
But
But
maybe
here
knight
maybe-
b3 was a good alternative to the game, because
Yeah.
Mhm.
But here maybe queen c1 he could go.
Whoa, okay. Surprise move.
This might actually be very strong.
I'm looking for a follow-up. I don't see anything immediately for black.
Yeah, I thought maybe this was
The better choice.
yeah, this was better choice, and like I wanted to go queen e7 here,
Okay.
if I remember correctly. Then if take, then take.
Right.
Okay, maybe he shouldn't be too ambitious and just go for this. Yeah. But it's hard to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to be full of self-restraint. The game was actually fascinatingly interesting, because
yeah.
at a certain moment it just appeared that white had built up his forces.
Mhm.
Yes, continue to
Yeah,
about
knight b3 maybe it was a better try, but rook d1 shouldn't be bad either.
Right,
And queen c7 is the only move here.
right, and now he played something
Maybe
like
here
f4
knight b3. Yeah.
in king h1. Yeah,
Yeah, he played f4, but
and f4 feels like it's
yeah.
missing its mark, though. What did you feel in the game?
I
What-
mean, I can understand why he went f4, because okay,
Sure.
he was in his prep, and I made a move which is not in his prep, and he thought he should be better.
Mhm.
But I don't think objectively f4 is good, because what I did in the game I couldn't see anything for white.
Exactly. And here you were thinking
Yeah.
knight b3 also.
Knight b3, and yeah, here I was thinking of bishop e7
Okay.
and c5,
Looks like
just
a
trying to
mess up.
mess up my structure,
Yes.
and bc5. Here yeah, I couldn't really find anything for it. I mean, bishop a5 I thought first was strong, but then queen c8, and
Mhm.
if I take, then queen c5 knight d3 is the problem.
And in that position, instead of bishop a5, in that position where you've played, knight b3, bishop e7, c5 takes, f4 here has a little bit more maybe
Yeah,
impact.
here f4
You will give back.
I wanted c4, or maybe I'll start with knight d3,
Right, and then rook d3,
rook
now
d3,
c4.
and then c4.
Okay, but white's... Maybe this is better for white than the game rook d2
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you take, and, well, you still have to face...
I don't think. Yeah, I would prefer white, I think, because
Yeah.
of the strong center and all.
Exactly.
But I wouldn't really be like too worried with black.
Okay.
Maybe I should.
Okay, fair. Show us the game, Gukesh.
Yeah.
So you got this really nice counterplay coming suddenly.
Yeah, maybe knight b3 was the move here, but
Mm.
f4.
It's very hard to resist because
Yeah,
if you have this position, you say to me, white to move. I'm playing e5 and I'm waiting for the score sheet to be signed because
yeah,
here you're back to the wall, but you came up with some very nice moves.
yeah. So rook d8 was logical. Knight
Mhm.
f5, f6, and here there were some nice lines actually.
Yes, exactly.
First of all, e5.
That was our principal move, yeah.
But here it didn't work because of rook d1
Mm-hmm.
and queen d1. There is fe5, so rook d1,
Yes.
fe5. Fe5. I thought knight e5 should also work, but I saw a nice line here. Trying to, yeah. So queen f7,
Right. Bishop e4.
bishop e4, bishop c8,
Yes.
and e6, bishop e6, knight g7, queen f1. Yeah. So rook f1 and knight e3 is made. So
Bravo.
yeah,
That's very pretty.
that's just a nice line I saw. But okay, here knight e5 should also work, I think.
Right.
And yeah, what he did was best. Here if e5, then I take and knight a3, and he can't protect his knight.
Yes. It took
Because
us a
of-
while for us to find knight a3. Yeah, and it's nice. Somehow the knight suddenly became vulnerable.
Yeah,
It's
queen
like-
e4, bishop d3 is the problem. So.
Precisely.
Yeah, this didn't work. Maybe he missed knight a3, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But even queen e2, I mean, it looks also tempting to get the queen to the king side, also pinning the knight.
Exactly. G6 was
But
very
g6 was also a very strong move, I think.
agreed.
And yeah, again, like rook d1. I mean, instead of knight h6, which was the main move I considered, I also saw some rook d1. But
Mm-hmm.
here queen c8 was very strong. And like next move, I just remove the knight, and his knight doesn't have a good square.
Right.
So
You're protecting the bishop, yeah.
Mhm. So yeah, g6, king g7, and actually this move was kind of interesting.
Right.
If I take the king, I mean take the knight, then ef6, and at
Bishop
first I
d4,
thought this
yes.
works, but then g4 is quite strong.
Like a puzzle rush or something,
Yeah.
yeah. Oops.
But then yeah, so I think king h6 is quite dangerous. But
e5, yes.
yeah, e5, but I can just take fe5,
Mm.
and if knight g4, bishop d4,
As
take,
in the game, yeah.
it's even a better version for me. So
Exactly.
yeah, that was a tricky move, but it doesn't work. And knight g4, yeah, bishop d4 is again, I think, quite precise.
It's
Another possibility was to go knight e5 or knight e3 to have this, but after h3, knight f2, king h2, I don't think.
you made a nice, very
Yeah,
impressive.
I
But
made
what did you get?
Yeah, now he gets e5, and maybe it's even dangerous for me. So
Understood.
yeah, knight g4, h5 was also maybe possible, but I was really not sure of this one. I mean, he gets. I get 2 pieces for a rook, but then he has the center, and I have a weak king, so I was really not sure about this.
That you wanted that, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I thought this was quite simple, and instead of rook d1, if he had gone
Mm-hmm.
take rook d1, then I guess just queen c5. I mean, it looks kind of scary with rook d7 and all, but I just trade the rooks, and I'm just a pawn up with with no counterplay for white.
Right.
So this was also quite good for me. And rook d1 c5, yeah, it was. I thought his best chance was to go here.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of this, and okay, it should be winning, but the line I was calculating was knight e3.
Oh wow, that's a surprise move.
Yeah, take queen e1, e2. Yeah, so take, and here I thought king g1, rook d1, king f2, take. I think it should be winning, but yeah, probably this was his
Well,
best chance. Yeah.
Was bishop f3 instead of? But then there's like.
Yeah, there is also bishop f3.
But then after you win back the queen, the pawn on the e4 is very weak. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go bishop d3 after that.
Yes.
And, either you have to give up one of the a2 or e4 pawns.
And
so
that's not nice. No.
yeah. And sorry. Yeah. So here,
Mhm.
take queen f2.
Right.
I also considered this move. I thought knight e3 and I thought it should win, but
Mhm.
after I calculated the line, I thought maybe there's something even better, and I saw queen c8.
Right. Also very attractive. Yes.
Yeah. So here I think the only move is h3 because if he
Knight is
doesn't do
hanging.
if he doesn't do anything, then h5 traps the knight.
Traps the knight even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
makes it work.
h3.
h5.
Yeah, h5, knight
Knight
h2,
e3.
knight e3, rook d4, queen c1, queen g1.
Queen g1, of course. Blindness, sorry.
I mean, it should be better after queen c3.
Right. Somehow
I'm
this
not
knight
very
on
sure
e3.
for rook a4. Yeah.
Oh. No, rook
Maybe he
a4
might
is
get
a little
some.
confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're confusing us with this move, rook a4. Yeah, you have to go down.
Here, yeah. Yeah.
There it is.
So I think I would have just gone for knight e3 and this endgame.
Mhm.
And even
what
if
you showed.
sorry,
Yes, what you showed.
the knight e3. Even if it's not winning, I think it's very, very hard to defend that position.
Right.
And also, he had like
Very
6
low
minutes for
time.
14 moves. So
Yes, exactly.
I thought that should easily win. And yeah, queen f3, he wanted to keep the queens, but after this, it's just not completely paralyzed, yeah, for white.
Yeah, and indeed, this final move was especially impressive. It like just shuts down f5.
Yeah.
It shuts down g4, and
Yeah, because I get this bishop d5 if he
exactly
opens
always.
the diagonal.
And Lizzie was describing this move f5 as like the diver who's deep sea diving and he needs oxygen because he's suffocating. And you take away the last tank, you say no, you don't even get to play g4 or f5. So that was a very impressive move.
Yeah.
A very impressive game, and also a little bit confounding because, white was building up what was looking like a very scary attack, and I have to ask you a very odd question. Where did your opponent make a mistake?
It was probably giving up the pawn, yeah.
Well, like right out of the opening, you think that...
I mean, this f4, yeah, maybe.
the f4.
Maybe
right.
you should have just gone knight
And
b3
the knight
and
d3
yeah.
was the line which you spoke about.
And the line we discussed, yeah, bishop
Yes.
e7. What did we discuss?
And I think it was somehow with the c5 included. But knight b3 was the maybe the key moment in the game for him.
Here, we saw something.
We were
yeah.
looking at c5, I think.
c5, but we see.
And then it was like the f4, knight d3, rook takes c4,
yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of a... We were looking at that kind of a business.
Yeah, maybe he should have gone here.
Knight b3.
And yeah.
Well, very good, very important victory. You're going through the tournament undefeated. You're in second place, depending on the outcome of Levon's game.
Yeah.
Feeling good.
Yeah.
Feeling good. Who are your last 2 round opponents? Do you know?
Tomorrow I play against Duda and last round against Levon.
Wow. Somebody wrote the script for the championship to be decided in the championship round. Congratulations.
Yeah.
An absolutely
Thank you.
marvelous game. And we will see you on the other side of the break as we get ready to complete our broadcast of this round 7. We'll see you soon. Thank you again.